Good afternoon, Happy New Year. It is Monday, January 2nd, 2023. How's everybody out there today? I don't know what to say. Like, earlier in the year, we're not the same old Jets. We're not the same old Jets. You know, Once again, we're not the same old Jets became the usual refrain, same old Jets. And, for any one of you out there that are taking comfort in the fact that we won 7 games this year, you people are stupid. Okay? Straight up stupid. Because this wasn't a staggering to a 7-9 record. No. This was a collapse to a 7-9 record. Okay? As in, this team was 7-4. They went and they've lost 5 games in a row and pissing their way out of the playoffs. Thanksgiving weekend, this team was 7-4. And yet the calendar just turned into 2023, and they still had a small fighting chance to get in. The last time I came on here, I'd basically given up hope like everyone else. But things fell into place. And then I've said there have been times in the past where the cards were heavily stacked against the Jets, and somehow they would overcome. And not this time. I don't know what's more stupid, the fact that they were favorites coming into this game, or what. But they went out to Seattle and they looked like they didn't even want to play. They laid a whimper, and all you needed to know from the first play from scrimmage is that we were dead. 60 yards, a questionable Kenneth Walker. Was he going to play? Nah, well, he played. 60 yards against our great defense down the field. And a couple plays later, they're in the end zone. Geno Smith, in his little supposed tour of teams he used to play for. And, the very team known more than the very team that drafted him. And we paid the piper. And look at him, he's probably one of those candidates for comeback player of the year, whether the Seahawks go to the playoffs or not. But this performance yesterday just was the final nail in the coffin. That there were many crucial plays this year with the Jets that, cost them this season. The real final nail was the 51-yarder against the Lions. I think after that they were dead, and they just left them demoralized, and they basically just quit. They quit. Another losing season, another year. This is 12 years in a row now without the playoffs. Another collapse. Yeah, this is classified as a collapse. Like every other collapse that they've had, this is a category right into it. Yep, absolutely. This team freaking sucks. This team freaking loves to tease its fan base. This franchise is just a straight joke. They get eliminated on the same day their big brothers, who, let's face it, rule this town and rule New York, clinch a playoff spot for the first time in 6 years was it for them? Their quarterback was properly coached, despite struggling how many years? It was on his final year of his contract, if I'm not mistaken. They were looking to get rid of him. He finally gets the proper coaching, and he finally guides the team to a playoff spot. And then there's the little brothers, right? Such promise. And then everyone, 7 wins, more than, and then everyone said, we played backup quarterbacks. To be fair, the Jets did beat Josh Allen. They beat Aaron Rodgers. And that's great, okay? But there were also games, see Cleveland, that we had no business winning. But here it is. Were we a really good football team, or was it really just pure luck? Were we? We were this great fourth quarter team that didn't quit. All this other crap went out the window. We became an anemic offense. It's really sad how This team has the talent that it has. This Jet team is the talent that it has, and yet, there's no quarterback, and the best option they had in Mike White, it's the same crap. I mean, Mike White is not going to say he was hurt. He was definitely hurt. Just wasn't saying he was healthy enough to play, but he was still hurt, and you saw it. But he also wasn't aided by the fact his receivers were dropping passes all over the place. The offense is responsible. And to make it worse, the offensive line, in this 5-game losing streak, they've played some of the bottom feeding offenses in the league. The bottom feeding defenses in the league. Seattle. This isn't the Legion of Boom, but you might as well should have called them the Legion of Boom. 31st in run defense. And they just, how many rush yards did the Jets have yesterday? 75, including -1 in the second half. Like, are you kidding me? Against Seattle. All right, Seattle is not that good of a football team. Okay, but they were even after a 10-0 lead, 17-6 lead at the half. Seattle was begging the Jets to get back in the game. But the Jets were just undisciplined. The Jets were trailing, I forgot what it is. It's late in the first quarter. I think it's 10-3 at that point. Bryce Huff takes a critical offside penalty, encroachment, whatever, on the 3rd and 4, giving Seattle new life. And then at the very end of the first quarter, Geno looks like he's down to the count. He gets a shovel pass off to the running back, and the guy takes off 40-something yards down the field. Next thing you know, they're in the end zone. Oh, and by the way, both their touchdowns yesterday were by the tight end, by tight ends. Because we now know that the Jets don't know how to cover tight ends. This great defense doesn't know how to cover a tight end. Yeah, they shut down DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but outside of that, these guys can't cover a tight end. But yet, the Jets are a top 5 defense in the league. Oh, yes, top 5 defense. Great. The team stinks. And they stunk top to bottom. All right? This wasn't the defense bailing out, trying to stay in the game. No. Top to bottom. Offense, defense, special teams, because Braden Mann had another yet his weekly crappy punts. And most especially coaching. Because some of the coaching decisions by the bald man were stupid. Late in the first half, he goes for it on a 4th and 4. Now, granted, Garrett Wilson should have had the ball in his hands, and he dropped it. But then later on, around the same spot, a 4th and 2, instead of maybe kicking a field goal or something, he punts it away. Seattle toyed with the Jets yesterday. That's what they did. And now the Jets once again 7-4. Oh my God! This team is 5-2, 6-3. We got over the Patriot losses because once another year kissing Bill Belichick's feet, we were still in it, right? Somehow, some way, despite everything, we were still in it, and 2 wins and 1 Patriot loss, and that did them no favors yesterday because the Patriots beat a depleted Miami team, right? The Jets go the next week and watch them lose to Miami anyway, and once again, another piss away year. Except it took till week 17 to get eliminated. Is that the comfort you can take for all you fans that want to say, "Oh, 7 wins, great, blah blah blah," that we were relevant until freaking December? Instead of being irrelevant by Halloween or by early October? Is that the consolation you want to take in this year? Because I'm not. I am not taking consolation. That the fact is we had a 5-game collapse, and a few of those games were freaking winnable. Okay? Some of these games they should have won. They should have beaten Minnesota. They should have beaten Detroit. Even had they won 2 of those games, they'd be sitting comfortable right now for a playoff spot. But no. Had they won 2 of those games, they'd be 9-7 right now. And more of their own fate, trying to control their playoff destiny. But now that came to a tough, not really tough, a bitter and sickening ending where when they needed it the most, they failed. Mike White, you're all in on Mike White, the players and everything, because face it, it's over for Zach. They want to keep Zach Wilson in their plans. Well, goodness gracious, that's just, that's also proof of how stupid the Jets are. The kid doesn't cut it. His teammates didn't like him. It's clear they don't want to play for him. And then there's fans like, well, when Zach Wilson was starting, they were winning games. Yeah, Zach Wilson struggled to throw for 200 yards a game. And then we lose Breece Hall, we lose Elijah Vera Tucker. We lose these guys, and it just, how much longer could the Jets survive without him? They even beat the Bills without him. But no, it's an absolute joke. It's a joke. It's a joke that this team became the same old Jets. And they keep trying to build new culture. They keep saying, oh, high hopes. Every stinking year. That's what it is. And then finally it looked like that finally was going to come to an end. And finally we would have had something to root for. But nope. We became the same. It's the same old crap. Okay? This is what we root for. But what's the sad part about it? The sad part, we'll be back next year. That's the sad part. We'll keep going and going and going because, you know why? Because we Jet fans, we are too faithful to this team that it's a dark cloud that we just cannot overcome. That's what it is. That's what it is with this team. That it's like the struggle is just there and you just can't overcome it. That is what it is with the Jets. That's what it is. And another wasted year. I swear with this team, man. And you can only, watching this game yesterday, you can only just sit there and just watch it slip away, just in utter shock. How you just more and more just watch this team quit. They weren't forcing turnovers. Geno Smith threw the thing backwards. There was no jet in sight. Even on one of the interceptions that Mike White threw, they actually fumbled the ball. Of course, there's no jet around. But it's been the epitome of this wonderful defense. They can't create turnovers. Absolute joke. And once again, we're not going to be playing football in mid-January. We have to watch. And what could have been, right? Right. So many. And last night after the game, I didn't even say a word to my wife and kids. I just went out for a drive. My poor kids, where are you going? Where are you going, Daddy? I went for a drive. I was so upset. I know it sounds sad, but I went for a drive. And I took my anger out. I just went and got something to eat. Good thing, my store, my company I work for, they have these famous chicken tender subs, which are so good. Unfortunately, they closed early. I forgot why. I don't know why they closed on New Year's Day early, but whatever. And I don't often eat them because one, I got tired of them, and two, they're expensive. But I just got so. I just felt like I just had to indulge in one because I was just so upset. If you ever come to Florida, try one. It's worth it. If you live here, you'll understand. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to sign off for now. Off to another wonderful Monday at work. I'm sure people will poke fun at me. They know. They know it's no secret. Anyway, 15 minutes on here. Wow. Deuces.